Good morning, folks. TBBLC. This is the selection slow. It's the Slate week 2. I'm here with my co-host Drew Luster, coming off an absolute heater of a week 1. 9-6-1 against the spread, against Vegas, against all odds. Some are saying he's the hottest guy betting against the spread in the world right now. How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. Happy to be here. Obviously, like I said earlier, this is a big decision week. It's a pivot week. Week 1, you're sort of just shooting from the hip, not really knowing much to expect. You don't have much to really look at. So, obviously, 1 week in the books. It'll be interesting to see how last week affects our this week decisions. And like we talked about offline, I think across the board, generally, there's a lot more closer matchups where you might be able to flip a coin. So I'm definitely interested where we take the slate this week.
Yeah, and just to set up the rules again here, we're acting like we're betting $100 on each game, so that's $1,600 a week. The 9-6-1 record at -110 odds got Drew a positive $272.73. He is up on the year. I came in at 7-8-1 this past week, minus $90.91. I blame that mostly on Green Bay because other than that, I would have been 500, and I honestly would have been above 500. I would have been 8-7-1. So Green Bay, you're dead to me. I'm wearing the Kirby Smart hat today. I got the little shoe visor going. We got the sailboat in the background ready to go. I see you're rocking your playoff stash already for baseball, yeah. I assume. Got the goatee going as well. And as always, the Seeger Company hat.
Absolutely. Big fan. Fall collection dropped yesterday. Check them out. They got some good threads.
Once again, we are going off DraftKings odds. This is Tuesday evening here.
Yep, 9:37 p.m. Eastern Standard.
I assume we're getting some of the best odds before people have placed most of their bets during week 2.
Early bird gets the worm.
That's just the way it goes. Yeah, tune in Wednesday morning. You'll probably get these same exact lines. So let's start off with game 1 here, Thursday, 7:25 Central, otherwise known as 8:25 Eastern. We got the New York Football Giants at the Washington Football Team. Notice, Drew, I'm better than last year, and I did not say Redskins.
You didn't say the R word. You've grown. You've matured. Some would say you might have been canceled via the internet as early as tomorrow, even before the podcast. Before you could even press release, you may have been canceled if you dropped the R word. So I'm happy for you for doing that, at least.
Giants are +3 as the away team. Who do you like here?
WFT, Washington Football Team. It's really not close. I don't believe in the Giants whatsoever. And I frankly don't care who the Washington quarterback is either. Obviously, really tough to see a guy like Fitzpatrick have the opportunity last week as the starter, and something horrible happened with his hip. Anytime you have a hip injury, never mind you're, on the backside of 30 as an NFL quarterback journeyman. Not a great look. Looks like they're going to go with Taylor Heineke Curt, who I don't want to say he gave Brady a run for his money last year in the playoffs, but he played his nuts off, and I have faith that he is going to deliver in prime time on Thursday night. I'm taking Washington. I think their defense is very good. I think they had a tough week 1. I think they eat Daniel Jones in that offense up on Thursday.
Yeah, I was waiting to see how week 1 played out here, and the Giants let me down. I had them week 1 at home.
Yep.
I've realized it's a mistake. I'm going to take Washington Football Team by a field goal, and I feel like that's a pretty safe one. I don't think I'm taking too big of a risk there. They basically just got to go out and win the game.
I would have to agree completely. I think the defense is what separates them. I think it's especially at home, prime time after sort of a stinker defensively for them week 1. I think they show up and show out on Thursday. So.
Yeah, and the Giants aren't a team that I'm afraid of them going out and putting up a bunch of points. So if you're going to be in a defensive game, I will take that Washington team any day of the week.
100%.
All right, next up, starting with the 1 o'clocks here on Sunday. Got the New Orleans Saints going to Carolina. Carolina getting 4 points. I'll start us off here. I am gonna take the New Orleans Saints. They showed me a lot in week 1. That was pure domination. Their defense was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Made Rodgers look like a rookie, which can you remember the last time that's happened? Probably not. I believe 2 interceptions, correct, on Rodgers' part?
Yeah,
Or was it one?
let's just say I don't know how many picks. Let's
But
just
a
say
very rare occurrence for Aaron
yes,
Rodgers. And
yes.
he did put up 1.32 points on my fantasy team.
Terrible.
And it cost me the game. I lost by 0.9, which
That
was
is
miserable.
that's one of the baddest beats I've ever heard, quite honestly. Either way, I'm going to take the Saints as well, regardless of what you think happened in week 1. Saints are just a better football team than the Carolina Panthers. It's not even a question. You saw the emergence of a few weapons offensively for New Orleans. The one thing that does concern me for New Orleans is they lost their top cornerback, Marcus Lattimore. I still think, similarly to what you had said about the Giants, we're not scared of the Giants putting up 40 points. I do think that the Saints, if it gets into like a track meet offensive battle, I don't think the Saints have an issue putting up 35, 40 points and running away with it, even if their defense can't stop the weapons for Carolina. So I'm taking the Saints.
One thing I'm a little scared of still is Jameis Winston. I know he had a good week last week, Drew, but the yardage that he threw me for a loop.
A little bit questionable.
Almost like they're game managing him type of deal.
Yeah, a little bit. It was a little bit deceiving, I think.
Which he probably needs. Like,
and
you don't
maybe he
want him
needs,
slinging.
yeah, maybe he needs to be sort of reined in a bit, and that's why they were being a little bit more conservative with him. It worked. It'll be very interesting to see if they let the leash off a little bit for week 2. But I'm taking the Saints either way.
Okay. Next game, we got Cincy going to Chicago. Chicago is favored by 2.5. This is knee jerk. This is easy, I think, Drew. And I think it could be. Now, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to mortal lock it. I think there's a better game. But I'm taking the points here with Cincy. I think Cincy's going to win the game outright. And the Bears should not be favored in a game this entire year. I don't want them favored by more than a point for any of the games this year.
This is almost offensive to the Cincinnati Bengals. They played their absolute guts out against the Vikings, showed up and showed out week 1. Really surprised me, and I think a lot of people. So to see the Bears in the position that they are this week it's sickening. Like you said, they're embarrassingly bad. As long as Andy Dalton is the quarterback, I will never ever pick them. I don't care what the spread is, because I think the Bengals are going to beat them pretty easily.
What a weird move by, is it Nagy still up there?
Yeah.
Like throwing
sort of like spot starting Fields in a couple, like have him run a touchdown.
Get into like Wildcat and stuff.
He's doing like shuffle passes.
Are we in 2008? What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, I understand, like, he wants to be a man of his word. He promised Andy Dalton the job, but it's going to end up costing him his job if he doesn't throw Justin Fields in, because he is a much better quarterback right now. I don't care if he can't read defenses fast enough or.
You know what Dalton's ceiling is? Dalton's ceiling is 3-14 because we have 17 games this year. That's his ceiling, is winning 3 games. It's like, do you think that Justin Fields has a better ceiling than that? Okay, put him in.
It's that simple. I don't care about the experience. I don't care about any of that. They need to put Justin Fields in. Either way, even if Justin Fields was playing, I'm still taking the Bengals. They looked really good in week 1, and the Bears looked really bad. I'm hammering the Bengals. I agree with you. They looked good, really good.
You willing to put a mortal lock on it?
I am not, because I think anything can happen in a game like that.
Okay.
It's been 1 week. I feel like anything can happen, but I am still going to pick the Bengals. Not my mortal lock. I'll wait for my mortal lock.
Gotcha. All right. On to Houston at Cleveland. Cleveland favored by 12.5. Would you like to go first on this one?
Yeah, I'm taking Cleveland. I'm taking the Browns, like I was going to
Okay.
say. Houston beat the Jaguars. The Jaguars look like potentially the worst team in the NFL. Um, I love Trevor Lawrence. I love James Robinson because he's on my team, but that's a really bad football team, poorly coached, really shitty offensive line, nothing to write home about defensively. Rookie head coach, rookie quarterback. Um, Not much else to it, really. That very much limits what I believe they're capable of. And I think Cleveland, after the way they sort of came out hot out of the gate and then
Challenge the Chiefs.
sort of got put back into their place a little bit towards the latter half of that game against the Chiefs. I think they come out firing and they don't stop and they put a beating on the Texans this week. I think they win by more than 12.5. I think they win by maybe 17 or something. It's not gonna be close.
Okay. I am going to take the points here. I'm taking Houston 12.5. I just think that is too many points for the spread. If it was Cleveland 7.5, I'd take it. I just can't factor in, more than a touchdown and a field goal where Houston might grab a couple of garbage points at the end of the game. And they shocked me in week 1 with how well they played, which tells me they can put up some sort of a fight against Cleveland, and it can get down towards the end, and maybe Cleveland's up, 10 points and they're just running clock. So I think 12.5 is just too much. I can't do it.
Okay. All right.
Next up, we got LA Rams against the Indianapolis Colts at home. The Colts are getting 3.5 points. I'm taking the Rams. I like the way they looked against the Bears. I'm a believer in Stafford, and the Colts they don't do anything for me. And this is Jared Goff, correct?
Going up. He's on the Lions. Carson Wentz is on the Colts. I know.
Classic.
It's
AFC middle of the country that I'm getting confused there.
Yeah. 2 blue bummy teams and 2 not so 2 bummy.
Carson Wentz, you said, right?
Yes, Wentz for the Colts.
Either way, he's the same as Jared Goff to me. I'm gonna be hard pressed to pick them unless they're getting points or they're just going up against a bum team.
I would have to agree. My only thing is can you hear me?
I can.
You're frozen. Okay, you're frozen, but hopefully it's still working on your end.
You're fine. Keep going.
Okay. I think to your point, I kind of want to root for the Colts. I like them as a team. Obviously, when we had that teeny, weeny rivalry with the Patriots, or they thought it was a rivalry, wasn't a big Colts guy. I do like the Colts. I like Frank Reich. I kind of like rooting for Carson Wentz. I think they have some good pieces there in Indy. Either way, I do think the Rams are going to be a real problem this year. They're a wagon. The way Stafford was able to move the ball down the field is ridiculous. Kupp, Woods, I think, Jefferson's the other kid, and then they got Higbee in the mix. Yep. I don't know what's going to happen with the running game. I don't think it's going to matter at all. They look really, really good offensively with Stafford. And defensively, they're one of the best teams in the league. So I'm also taking the Rams.
Okay. Sweet. I wrote down Rams. You started talking all this Chargers. I wrote it down premature by accident.
I started writing Colts. Because I like the Colts and want them to be good, but the Rams are a real problem this year.
Okay. I like that. I like that I'm having similar picks to you right now. Because
so far we're pretty.
I'm riding the tailwinds from last week.
Exactly.
All right. Next game we got. This is still the 1 o'clocks here. Denver going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville getting 6 points. I'm going to take the points here. I'm a big take the points guy in a close game. I know they looked horrible. Trevor Lawrence's first game. Hopefully it turns out like a Peyton Manning's first game, which was also trash. Yeah. And he went on to he had a bad first year, but he went on to win a few games at least.
A few.
But
never heard of them.
Broncos, They went up to MetLife and beat the Giants. Show me better than that. I'll take the points.
I am going to take Jacksonville as well for a couple reasons. One, they're at home. First game back, Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer can sort of shake off the nerves a little bit, shake off the rust. Denver really doesn't scare me on either side of the ball a ton. And I would like to see Trevor Lawrence sort of settle in, them establish the run game with my boy J-Rob, like I mentioned before. Hashtag not biased. I'm also going to take the Jags. I like them to get one of their only wins of the season at home against the Broncos.
Are you calling out a one in something record?
Probably, yeah. I'm taking the under on 2.5 wins for the Jags this year.
Okay. All right. Next up, we got Buffalo at Miami. Buffalo is favored by 3.5.
It's not even going to be close. I think Buffalo is going to annihilate them after what happened to Buffalo last week. They did not look good offensively at all. I think the Dolphins are coming off of an emotional Patriots win, close game, gritty win for the Dolphins down in New England, or up in New England, shall I say. I think Buffalo, after the way they played against the Steelers, they're going to end up stomping the Dolphins. I don't even care if it's in Miami. I'm taking Buffalo this week. Bills Mafia.
And I'd like to point out that you were on the Steelers last week and got that one correct. So I am going to take Buffalo just because of that switch. Okay. You're not picking off any fandom. You're just picking on pure objectivity right now.
That's it. It's all there is to it. Yep. Absolutely.
All right. Here's my mortal lock of the week.
Hit me with it.
It's Patriots at Jets. Jets are getting +6. Ooh, that line moved. I saw +5 earlier. 6 makes it a little harder, but I don't see the Patriots having that many mistakes again on offense, which cost them a ton of points. They absolutely dominated time of possession, had 15 more minutes time of possession than Miami did. With all that said, though, man, 16 points is tough to swallow when you have that much time with the ball. And I know there were a ton of turnovers, but still, like, if you can't beat a team that scores 17 points in the game and you had 15 more minutes worth of time to do as such,
yep,
that's not good.
Nope.
But the Jets are incapable to me to score. I can't take the Jets at +6. I can't. So I'm taking my mortal lock. I'm riding with Belichick is gonna have a better week in all phases of the game, and they're gonna win by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't shock many people. We've been walking right across from each other for the start of this entire pod with our picks, and we're going to continue walking right next to each other because I am taking the Patriots as my mortal lock as well. Pick them in my work pool today. To your point, I think too many mistakes, 84 yards, 85, 80 plus yards in penalties, we'll say, 2 costly turnovers. I don't think it's possible for them to play that bad again this season. I think you also look at the big picture at who they have coming up with the Saints, the Bucks, Texans, and then you go back and you have to play Dallas. If you lose to the Jets, you're maybe looking at a 1-5, 1-6 start potentially, and your season's over by week 4 or 5. So this is a must-win game. I know that sounds crazy. I'm hammering the Patriots all day long. I think they look much sharper in terms of penalties and turnovers, and I'm hopeful that given the lack of talent on the Jets defense, McDaniel starts to loosen the reins a bit on Mac and let him really take some shots downfield and really see what we got. So I'm taking the Pats.
I'm going to double down as well. That's my survivor pick for the week, the New England Patriots to win outright.
Mine as well in my work league. Mortal lock, survivor pick, hammering the Pats. I don't see a way that they lose this week.
Oh, God.
I don't.
That's the inevitable Luster Jonah.
I know what you're going to say.
There's nothing more powerful in the world. I mean, if Mike Luster comes out and says they are guaranteed to win this week, I might have to make an emergency conference and say, hey, I got to switch to the Jets. Here's the thing I'm a little wary of. It is once a year or twice a year we play the Jets, but once a year there seems to be that field goal game for no reason.
Last
No
week,
matter how good the Patriots are, whether it was
last
with
year it was
Tom Brady.
Thursday night. Remember, last year it was
Yeah.
Thursday night. It was
Well,
so close.
even with Brady when they had great teams, it just out of nowhere. And I think the difference in those ones was the Jets had a much better defense, and they could play us in kind of a tight divisional one, and it was usually in New York when that happened.
Yep.
But that is something I think to look out for, because we will be absolutely devastated if the New York Jets, Jets,
oh my God,
screw us over in week 2 and get us knocked out of Survivor.
Dude, I if anything, the Pats maybe win by less than 6, and we get shafted on the pod picks. I don't see them, losing period is what I'm trying to say. So
yeah,
Pats all the way. We'll see what happens.
All right, we got San Fran at Philly. Philly getting 3.5 here. Long travel over to Philadelphia from San Francisco. A lot of airfare there.
This is a weird one. One of those weird ones because I know I should pick San Fran, but Philly sort of looked good offensively. I'm still going to pick San Fran. Better coach, better defense. I think San Fran probably wins by 7 or 8 or something like that. Less than 10, but more than 3.5.
Who'd Philly play last week? I know they won.
Philly played. Who did they play? I don't recall. I'll look at it right now though, because I too am interested.
Yep. I don't think it was a good game because I didn't even tune in, and I was flicking around for most of the games, and I didn't see a second of the Philly game. This is going to determine my pick, though.
Falcons. It was the Falcons.
And they just wipe the floor with them, which gives me a little confidence in them to keep it close. I want to go with San Fran. I'm going to go with San Fran. I'm going to ride your pick. That's what I'm going to do.
Keep riding my coattails.
All
right. It's a weird one because in your heart, you should pick San Fran. It's the smart and safe pick, but something tells me maybe Philly, something weird happens in that game. Yeah.
It's in Philly. It's just one of those long distance away games. It's early in the season though, so that really shouldn't be a factor of, getting
like injuries or fatigue,
and
any of that jazz.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. We got Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders
at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is favored by 5.5. I will take the Raiders whenever they get in positive points. They're an offensive machine. And Monday night proved to me
that was crazy.
Proved to me that they can get it done in the crunch time, even though they took one of the worst offsides in overtime history on the 1-yard line and cost me my fantasy game by throwing an interception to the defense.
Terrible. Just Willie Snead should be caught. Like that is just such a terrible effort.
And I can't blame it
on
to
go off his hands.
I can't blame it on Derek Carr because it was wide open.
Horrible effort by Willie Snead to let that ball get tipped. It's inexplicably bad. You're taking the Raiders. I'm taking the Steelers at home. At home in Pittsburgh. I know Las Vegas coming off a hard-fought, emotional victory. Tough game.
Little bit of a short week.
And they played a lot of free football as well. I'm taking the Steelers. I know Vegas just sort of sticks around. They hang around. They're going to grind you down. It's not going to look pretty, but they're going to hit on a couple big plays and keep it close. I still think Pittsburgh wins by probably a touchdown or so. So I'm taking the Steel City.
I think that's the smart pick, especially because I think the Raiders are kind of one of those teams that they play completely different at home, especially with the new stadium.
Week to week in general, yeah, they're a weird one.
So that I don't hate you Steelers pick, but I'll take the points there.
Okay.
We got Minnesota at Arizona. Arizona favored by 4.5. These are getting easier and clearer for me. I'm taking Arizona 4.5. I will not bet on Mike McCarthy and Mike Zimmer. I just can't do it.
Yeah, Arizona looked outstanding last week, and I don't even know if they really looked that good or the Titans just looked that
Bad.
horrendous offensively. Offensive line was putrid. Really couldn't get anything going offensively at all. Chandler Jones had like fucking 5 or 6 sacks. It was insane.
And you're a Vikings guy, so I'm waiting.
I do like the Vikings. I
I
love
just want to
Dalvin Cook.
advise you. You took Minnesota last week.
I know.
And they lost. I just want to advise you of that.
I also want you to know that I actually have Kyler Murray and DeAndre on my big money fantasy team, and I'm riding them all the way till I'm at Greeley. So I am going all the way with them. I'm hammering Arizona. It's one of those where you almost feel like, okay, Minnesota sort of got that one taken away from them with the Bengals. You know, they're a good football team, but I still, again, like you said, I don't totally believe in the coach and the culture there. They have some good pieces on paper. They should be good, but I think Arizona is a much better football team than they were last year, and I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. They look very, very good. I'm taking the Cards.
Okay. And that was our first game of the 4 o'clocks.
Yep, we're starting to get to the afternoon window.
We're moving into Atlanta at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay favored by 12. What do you got?
This is one where I almost want to take your advice. Like, that's a lot of points. 12 is a lot of points. Atlanta put up 6 last week.
Divisional.
You have to think that they make some changes in push
I will be at this game.
Oh, I didn't know that. Or maybe I did. That's sick either way. That's going to be that could be offensive fireworks all day long.
It could be, but like that's the thing I thought last week. That's what was going to happen with the Philly Atlanta game, and we got nothing out of Atlanta.
I'm going to take. This is not a smart pick whatsoever.
You're taking Atlanta, I can feel
but I'm going to take the Falcons. They got embarrassed week 1 at home really badly. Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts is going to show up and show out. They're not going to win the game. They're certainly not going to win that game. But I think, like, to your point, I think maybe a garbage touchdown to, Russell Gage or something at the end sort of cuts into the 12.
Yep. You and me are on opposite sides here because I feel safer with Houston having that possibility, whereas I am on Tampa and I am confident on this one.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Did you know Tampa is named like Tampa, Florida, and not Tampa Bay? I always assumed it was Tampa Bay, Florida. But that's just the Bay.
Tampa Bay. I thought Tampa Bay was the play. It was like Tampa Bay.
I thought it was a city. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's
like
just
they have
Tampa.
Like University. Oh no, well, is it University of Tampa or University of Tampa Bay? I think it's University of Tampa.
That's the thing. I didn't realize this. I swear to God, till last week.
Huh.
So factor that into your bets.
Okay. Interesting.
So I'm on the Bucks at -12 there.
Okay.
Next up, we got Dallas going to the LA Chargers. This one, the Chargers are favored by 3.
I have no idea.
That's crazy, right?
I'm gonna be honest. Like, this is.
I thought Dallas would be favoring this game because of how they played Thursday night.
I did too, and that's why I don't really know. This is why this one kind of sketches me out because
this is Vegas screwing with you.
Like, I'm like, something's up here. Like, my mind's telling me you got to. I mean, Chargers look like ass, and Dallas looked outstanding.
Yep,
outstanding on Thursday.
And we got Dallas right last week, and that's a little scary for me because I got Dallas right at the +8.5.
Yeah.
But that's scary for me because Mike McCarthy is the coach, and he is one of my all-time hates.
Yeah.
Should be fired. Should not be a head coach in the National Football League, in my opinion, along with Mike Zimmer.
So here's the best way that I can sort of describe it. The way Dallas played Thursday makes me think that they could be a contender, but deep down in my heart of hearts, I know that they're almost sort of like Vegas, where one week they look like a playoff team and the next week they look like they might win 5 games. I don't want to say that that's going to happen in California this week for them. I'm going to take the Cowboys because I do believe in them. I think that offense looks really, really good, and I think their defense has gotten a lot better. But I, honest to God, wouldn't be shocked if I get this one wrong and the Chargers come out and beat them by like 14 or something, or at least 2 touchdowns.
Give him a
It's
little pee
weird. It's
smack.
weird. It's just a weird. It weirds me out, and I don't know why.
I thought by your description, this is the second game you were going the Chargers there for sure.
I know.
And
I
didn't write
can't.
it down. I wrote down Dallas for myself because I am also taking the points here. And I think Dallas is the better team, and it's a game they gotta win.
Yeah. You can't if you're Dallas and you want to win that.
Because Chargers won last week versus Indy, correct?
I don't know. Did they? No, we already said Indy played. Oh, I wish we had the other matchups up. I don't know.
You gotta pull up the last matchups. We'll continue on. Pull that one up. I'm pretty sure it was Indy.
It might have been. Yeah, I'm already on to next week, unfortunately.
Tennessee Titans at Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks favored by 5 points. Now you gotta think Mike Vrabel's team comes out looking a lot better than they did in week 1. But this is a tough game for them going up to Seattle. This is a possible rough 0-2 start. 5 points spread.
Yeah, this is one where Derrick Henry carries the ball 30 times, and they just try to win 12-3. They're just gonna they're gonna go to Seattle, and like you said, they're just gonna try to sort of grin and bear it because you can't go down 0-2. Number one. That's another weird one. I'm gonna take. I keep doing this. I'm gonna take Seattle. You know what? I'm gonna take Seattle. I don't care what the Titans did or didn't do last week. Seahawks are a better team. Seahawks are at home. I almost feel like the Titans rely too much on their running game. Julio didn't look that good last week. Offensive line didn't look that good last week. And I think Seattle, like with those boomer bust type of shots that they take to lock it in those guys, not sure that Titans can keep up with them if they hit on a few of those.
Here's how you feel better. And I just looked up the games here. Chargers were against Washington last week, won by 4.
Okay.
So that doesn't impress me. So I like our Dallas pick. Now go on to Seattle matchup here. I want to take Tennessee because I think it's a bounce back game, but I got to stick with Seattle. I got to stick with the horse there and not try to get too cute. I'm in the same exact category. They should win by a touchdown. It's a game they should win at home by a touchdown. Let's just keep it simple. I completely agree. I tried to overthink it a little bit. I kind of almost got away from myself, but I think that's one where you just have to stick with your gut and trust that the Seahawks are going to get it done. Sunday Night Football. This will be a good one. Kansas City Chiefs at Baltimore Ravens. The spread is 3.5. Obviously, the Chiefs are favored in that. This is a good one. Who do you got? I'll let you go first. Kansas City. I don't honestly think the Ravens are that good. They made a ton of mistakes last night. They didn't look like the Ravens of last year or 2 years ago that were just cruising down the field with Lamar. Not sure if that's because they have like a 4-string running back in or they lost some pieces on defense, obviously. Judon went to the Pats. They just lost Marcus Peters for the year. Those are key pieces that cannot go, without notice or without mention. So I'm taking Kansas City. I think Kansas City, honestly, is going to run away with this game. Hate to say it. It should be a good game on paper, but I'm taking the Chiefs. So this is interesting because I feel like Baltimore gets into these situations with good teams where they get into that overtime situation or that end of the game last drive, and a lot of it comes down to a field goal type of thing. So I think the 0.5 point on the 3 is huge. But do I think that is enough to go against the Chiefs? It's tough. I am going to take the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to take the points here. Shit. They're at home.
Oh my God. All right. Okay.
Cleveland, put up a great battle this week against the Chiefs. They got off to a
They
slow
did.
start. If they get off to a slow start in Baltimore, it's going to be a similar type of game where they're going to have to come back and, get a last second field goal or touchdown.
Yeah.
I like Baltimore here, but I don't love it. I kind of hate that I'm picking Baltimore here, to be honest.
It kind of feels that way. I almost feel like there's someone behind the camera that has a gun to your head right now. That's what it sort of
That's what it feels like. There's no part of me that wants to be
You don't even want to pick them, do you?
You know what?
Really
No,
don't.
we're taking the Chiefs.
No,
You just talked
come
me
on.
out of it. No,
Oh, I don't want to do that.
It's me being stubborn with the 3.5 points for no reason.
I don't see it being that close of a game, frankly. I just don't. I don't know. I don't think like Lamar Jackson can't push the ball down the field at the way the Chiefs.
No,
can.
you're right. And Kansas City should be able to light that defense up. Derek Carr just did it. There was no part of me that thought, Baltimore is gonna stop him with that secondary at the end of the game. So thank you.
Yeah,
hopefully thank you for talking me out of this and getting me an extra win. Maybe I am on Kansas City at -3.5.
Here's my thing, if Henry Ruggs and Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller are finding open space and making plays against that Ravens D, then Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, it's going to be a long day for the Ravens, I think. If what we see last week happens again. I know it's different schemes, different offenses, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But Chiefs are just too good, I think.
I like that. All right, and we got our last game here. I believe there's 2 teams on bye, Drew, because I am only showing it looks like 15 games this week. Maybe query that on some Google and figure out who it is. But the Monday night game,
Kurt. There's no buys week 2.
There's 17 games this season. I think unless I missed a game jotting it down in my notebook, which I don't think I did.
One more.
I understand that.
Let me see if so there's.
Just Google it. We got Monday, 7:15 Central, 8:15 Eastern. Detroit Lions going up against the Green Bay Packers at home. The Packers are favored by 11 points. Who do you got? Or would you like me to go first with this one?
You can go first.
Okay. If this was any other year, Drew, you're absolutely hammering the Packers on this at -11. But because of the start that they got off on, you're starting to think about it and you're saying Detroit +11, can I get away with that type of deal? It's at Green Bay. I should be very confident like I was last week. But that's too many points for a team that put up 3 points versus the Saints. That's too many points. It's too many points. I'm going with the Detroit Lions.
Oh my God, that's so silly. That is so silly. I get it. Like I get that if you watch any part of that fourth quarter of the Detroit game, they were grinding. They were scratching and clawing to get back into that game last Sunday afternoon. But it's the Packers, Kurt. Like Aaron Rodgers might throw 6 touchdowns.
Hey, owns them. Completely owns them. Them and the Bears.
It's going to be an absolute murder.
This is easy revenge game, right? You would think.
Yeah, just makes a statement. Devontae Adams says 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. I understand.
Here's my defense.
Okay.
And I got one defense, and it's not anything to do with Rodgers in the offense. My defense is that Green Bay D is exactly who we thought they were from the last 10 years.
Atrocious.
They stink.
Swiss cheese.
Secondary, useless. Front line got obliterated by New Orleans. Yeah. So that's what tells me 11 points is too many.
Yeah, I want to agree. And I want to think that similarly to what they did last week, they throw in a couple garbage time touchdowns to cut into the 11. But I don't even think it's going to be, again, I don't similar to sort of what I was saying with the Chiefs game.
Who do you think's a better team? San Fran or Green Bay? Let's just say this week versus any team in the league.
If they were playing each other on a neutral site, who am I picking?
Who do you pick? Yeah.
San Fran.
What if I told you that Detroit covered on an 11-point spread last week against San Fran.
That is, that kind of puts me in a tough spot. I still think, here's my rebuttal to what you just said.
Yeah.
I think San Fran is a better football team. I don't think they have as high octane of an offense. I don't think they have the ability to put up 21 points in a quarter in a blink of an eye. I think the Packers could do that, and that's why I'm sticking with the Packers. I think the 11, on paper, it looks like a lot, but again, I think when you look at what happened last week to the Packers, I think they come out this week and prove a point, and it's really not even close enough for them to throw in a couple garbage time points there at the end to cut into the 11. I'm still taking the Packers. But I appreciate your stance on it. I do. That's all the games, by the way.
Why do I only have 15 on my list here?
I counted all 16 here, and we went through all of them. Do you want me to go back to do you want to go backwards a little bit and just make sure you have them all?
Yeah, just run down the games real quick for me.
So Lions at Packers.
Yep.
Obviously. Chiefs at Ravens.
Yep.
Titans at Seahawks.
Okay.
Cowboys at Chargers.
Yep.
Falcons at Bucks.
Yep.
Vikings at Cardinals.
Yes.
Broncos at Jacksonville Jaguars.
There it is.
Oh, you don't have that one.
That's the one I didn't write down. Did we do that one? We did do that one. I took the Broncos, I believe.
You took the Broncos. I took the Jags.
Or did I take the Jags? Well, I'll have to listen back and I'll see what I did.
That you took.
I took the points, I think. I said both teams kind of stink.
Yeah,
but either way, that's all right.
You did the old math thing with the Broncos.
Hey,
I don't know if you would have taken that.
When you're listening to this, and we post the photo, just realize the Broncos Jacksonville game is at the bottom, not because of them being in the Monday night slot. It's just because I forgot to write them down.
They almost deserve to be at the bottom too. Like that's such a just miserable matchup. We wouldn't even.
Maybe that's what we do each week is we pick one game that we're not going to watch a single second of, and we put it at the bottom of the sheet as like a don't touch this game. We have no idea what's going to happen. Nor
do we even really care that much.
Yeah.
In your mortal lock, let's just review real quick for the people.
New England, my survivor pick, also New England. They are favored by 6 currently against the New York Jets.
I am doubling down on both of those. I already picked them. I already selected them this week in my survivor pool for work. They're my mortal lock of the week. They have to win this week. They will win this week. Go Pats.
Excellent. Well, that'll wrap up the slate week 2 with your boys, Curtis and Drew. We will still close every single show with Pat from last year playing us out.
What's for lunch? TBBLC.
Stay in your seat.
What's for lunch today? Sausage. Brown bag.
The Brown Bag Lunch Crew.